Hello everyone, Steve here. So for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about how would I survive like a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, like I yeah, yeah, and the reason why I'm talking about this is pretty much like yesterday I just pretty much like uploaded just a random video, just me yapping, not yeah, just yapping, but then like yeah, but as I was talking, of course, I did got the idea of like of like talking about how would I survive a zombie apocalypse, and yeah, I'm just gonna pretty much gonna be explaining how personally me, how I would survive pretty much. So yeah, but like enough of the introduction. Yeah. But anyways, enough of the introduction. Let me just get into it pretty much. So like, well, for me, of course, how would I survive a zombie apocalypse? Well, it would kind of depend, of course, of like first first being where I'm at specifically, cause who knows? Cause I think even though like sure like the chances of of like a zombie apocalypse actually happening are like very slim, but of course, but let's say of course if there is like I don't know either some virus, either I don't know some type of virus of course going out like I don't know like something like COVID of course, causing people to just die and come back as the dead. Um, yeah, it just depends on where I'm at, cause like even cause I'm yeah, cause it, yeah, cause it would either yeah, cause it for example, of course, if I'm either like at home, of course, and I get the news about like a zombie apocalypse, yeah, I feel like all I have to do is just pretty much is to yeah, it's to probably like blockade. Yeah, it's probably like cover up the windows with like either the curtains as well as like probably like yeah, as well as like board them up a bit. Simply because like I don't know, a zombie can easily either spot me and easily break through the windows, with ease. That of course, well that's if I'm at home. If I'm like outside my home of course, like I'm probably either like at the mall or I have like a public space of course. I probably have to just straight up just run, to like the most secure place I don't know I can find, so I don't get bitten, of course, and turn into and get turned into a zombie. However, that really depends, of course, of like the type of zombie I'm dealing with. That being, if I'm either dealing with the traditional like zombie, that being the slow moving, easy to like deal with, and they're only really a threat if they're in like large numbers. But if I'm dealing with like the zombies from like either World War Z, 28 days later, so like the more like faster zombies, of course, or like the Korean ones. Yeah, I'm essentially kind of cooked, like GG. But nevertheless, surviving is possible. It's just it just depends on like the circumstances. It just depends on the circumstances, of course, of like where I'm at. Where I'm at. Whether like the outbreak first. Where the outbreak first. It first occurs. How fast it can spread. All that jazz. But that's like but that's generally talking about like if it's happening like as it's being spread. But if it's like I don't know like a few months after, but if it's like a few months of course after the virus has essentially like infected pretty much I don't know like 90% of the human population of course, us, and it's only like yeah like a few people survivors left. um I feel like I can survive nevertheless. I just have to be like very wary of either the dead as well as like of any as well as like any hostile people that I come across. And to be honest, I feel like I'll probably be the only one. Well, I'll probably be like the only member of my family probably surviving. Simply because I have a feeling, cause my folks, yeah, that my folks and probably one and a few of my siblings probably won't make it, which is definitely heartbreaking to me. Like, but that happens, and actually, I feel like another thing, of course, I feel like, um, yeah, about I think like surviving the zombie apocalypse is like you have to put your morals or like yeah you have to put like your morals and emotional side push that aside of course and have to think more logically and be a bit more cold, which I know not everyone seeks to do so, but it's either that or you're dead. So yeah, and then like yeah, I feel like, but I feel, and yeah, but that's that. But I feel like the best way for me to survive is pretty much just like I don't know. It's probably like I don't know, going to like that being like I don't know, going to like those like I don't know what those places called where they like sell vehicles, Yeah, probably go one of them, steal either a van or a UV. Steal, yeah, I'd be either like stealing one that I either find on the street and get the keys, or one that I find somewhere, and use that as like a mobile base, of course. Yeah, for a bit. And also and while I use that as a mobile base, I can also like go around like any like stores or any place I can like stock on. I can either like stock on food, and yeah, food, water, medicine, all that jazz. And eventually, I don't know, drive myself somewhere, of course, very secluded. Yeah, very so yeah, somewhere, of course, where I won't really encounter many people, but I can also like set up, of course, as my as like my home, my new home, pretty much. And I would take in like survivors, of course. Yeah, of course, to help me out. But first I have to like make sure, of course, if like they're good people, of course, and they don't try to like either kill me, of course, to either steal all my resources, or they're just straight up cannibals. So yeah, but like yeah, but like generally there's like numerous ways, of course, of like how I would probably survive, the zombie apocalypse, of course, of like where I'm at, I mean, yeah, where I'm at, the zombies themselves, all that, and like, yeah, I feel like my chances of surviving are like, probably say like 65, yeah, probably like 65% survival rate, pretty much. However, I can still die nevertheless, of course. Like, all it takes is like a simple mistake for me to like, to just drop dead. But like, yeah, but generally, well, that's how pretty much how I would survive. I actually would like to hear your guys's like your survivor guides, of course, of the zombie apocalypse or any form of apocalypse. That being like, I don't know, that being like, yeah, zombie, nuclear, alien invasion, yeah, war, you name it. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's all I have to say for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this vid. Um, so yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna be getting into some like more Walking Dead content. So yeah, um, so yeah, Steve is out. Bye bye.